So thank you very much for letting us come down. I know I've been here before.
I love your brother to pieces. And his brother, his other brother as well. He used to look after his other brother.
Yeah. And I love that. I know you told me last time, but I absolutely love that story.
Yeah.
And because I remember my dad was the first one that told me. Then I'm certain you told me when I last came down. Then I spoke to Matty, and then he told me about it.
I took his brother and looked after. He was going for a bad stage at the time, like. And I'd get in the car in the morning, like go to work, and the fucking thing would be on empty. And I filled it up the night before. I couldn't work out what was going on. And this went on for a long time, like, you know. And I thought it must be a leak or so. I was going to the mechanic to come out and have a look at it. His brother used to, your uncle, used to nick my car. God knows where he used to go. He must have went to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
He was a naughty boy at the time.
Parking tickets, didn't he?
Yeah, I used to get the parking tickets, not him. God, Jesus Christ. It was an old Granada, I think it was. Yeah, Jesus. And I had to phone his brother up, your dad. And I said, look, he's taking the piss now, like, you know, he's, what the fuck's going on, like? And he was going for a bad patch, like, so I just said, look, you know, leave the car alone, stop taking it for drives. But that's the way it was, you know what I mean? He was, but he always used to park it back lovely.
Yeah.
But no petrol in it.
He told me
he could have put the petrol back in it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. He used to put the bricks down or something, so he knew exactly where to park.
Yeah, no, it was difficult. It was difficult to tell, like. But your brothers, there were some great boys over Milton Keynes. That was like a gold mine. Because when I was younger, there was no Milton Keynes there. And suddenly in the late 60s,
That's right.
Milton Keynes had been built up in the 70s, going through the 70s, like, as a teenager. And they're good work. It was like it was like a gold mine over there. Door work. It was door work everywhere.
Yeah.
I was mainly in Wolverton or down Bletchley. That's before Milton Keynes. Then they built the Point. I was getting work at the Point. Then it was all come. Yeah, there was plenty of work over Milton Keynes.
Yeah, because my mum always remembers you. Always spoke highly of like respectful and nice you were, and because she used to work in the bars with glass flips, I think it was.
Yeah.
And but that was just growing back then, wasn't it?
That was Richard Graham. I worked in the one near the train station. What was that called?
Wasn't it? Was it? No, it wasn't.
Directors.
Directors. Directors. Yeah, directors. I can remember an old gangster used to come in there from London. He changed his name, George King. And I think he was a supergrass or something like that. But he was a nice guy to talk to him, right? And a lot of people from London, a lot of Scottish come in, like moved into Milton Keynes. And it was a brand new city. And it was there for the work was fantastic, like, you know. I was mainly down the Agora for a while. Directors, I was in all the pubs and all the clubs, like. Yeah. It was lovely, like, the money was great. And my brother was there, like, that's where we met Tony Ater, Sunrise.
Okay.
Back to the Future. Back to the Future. Oh, the Outer Scout. There were so many different raves, like, you know what I mean?
Because I remember watching, you said about the Back to the Future. That's quite a big, was it a rave or something? Is that right?
It was massive. It was going abroad as well. It was going to Europe, America. Oh, okay. It was going everywhere. But they were great in the 80s when it took off. And in the late 80s, the early 90s, people realised there's money in drugs. There's a lot, millions, billions of pounds in drugs. Like, I wasn't into the drugs, you know what I mean? The only thing I ever took was steroids, and I regret that. I'm telling the kids out there, it's anything, you know, even steroids, it's no good for you, mate. It was my downfall, steroids. I got too bad-tempered, like, and, you know, I got violent on it. But it was great. My brother started working up in London. He was both minded for Tony Ater. Back to the Future as well. All the raves, all the raves. We'd been hired out by clubs up London. I think we just worked for one that was closed down. I think Manny Clark, a mate of mine, the gas club he had, I think he used to spar with Lenny McLean. the other club what was closed down, a big gas works or something was closed down in London, and there was working. Everywhere I was working in Camden Town, Kentish Town, WKD. There's so many different. We was working a different club every night. You know, me and my brother, and obviously with Manny Clark as well. He was boxing. What was it last Saturday? Yeah, boxing. My son was on the show as well, like over in Bedford. And Manny Clark, he must be 60. Fair play to him, you know. Yeah. He's as hard as now. I used to work on the door with him, like, and he is a tough geezer, like. I mean, on the door, you could come up to me and be a bit a little rude, and I'd try and calm things down, like, you know what I mean? If you come up to me and say, you fat bastard, yeah, I'm a little bit overweight. But Manny was different, like. If you said that to him, like, you know, it'd be a different type of thing. But, no, he got in the other week. He's in his 60s. He's got to be 60. And he got him with a young lad, must be in his 20s. Went 3 rounds, won the fight. His jab's still as quick as a youngster. Still quick.
Yeah.
And he just got out as if, like, he'd done nothing. Unbelievable, like. But he's a scaffolder, like, you know. That's part of boxing training, scaffolding. You're up and down on your feet all the time, picking scaffolding up, putting scaffolding down. And my brother's a scaffolder as well. Not my brother, my son, Brandon Buster Buckland. And he went 3 rounds, and he made it look easy as well.
Yeah.
And the boys, they were fine. They're good boys as well, like, you know. My son was fighting a counter puncher, same as my mate Manny Clark. And when they come out, they can bang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But generally, they're boys of experience, like, because they're working you towards and they're working you out all the time. They're on their back foot, and they're watching that jab and they're blocking, and suddenly they come bang, bang with a big hard punches, like. But there was a good place. It was good over Bedford. It was great night out.
Just out of interest, would you say in like obviously that bit like sport would you say experience outweighs sort of age, or would you say there is a mixture of both?
There's a mixture. I would. Manny had a good jab. I've always taught my son the jab all the time. Oh, he used to be my sparring partner. Although he's only had an handful of fights as a junior, he's had 2 prize fights. It's hardly anything really, like. But he used to come and spar with me before I used to spar with anyone what used to come down here. Oh, by the way, this is where the real stuff happened, like, you know what I mean? Up at Caesar's Palace, it was all right, but it was cowboy stuff, you know what I mean? It wasn't the proper thing. It was okay, like, you know what I mean? And I enjoyed myself, and thanks to everyone what looked after me up there, and Ricky English and the old man Joey Parle and that, you know what I mean? But here was the proper stuff. This is where the proper people come down. The proper travellers, like, yeah, you had the Duran brothers from down the Ponyfield, Western Turble, traveller camp down there. Had some good fighters down there. Good fighters. Barry Bennett used to come down, middleweight. Billy Hutchison, he used to coach me. He was fantastic. Combined service champion. He was in the RAF. I think he won it a few times. I mean, that's something else. Combined service champion. That's like the Army, the Navy, and the RAF. But these boys are like in the SAS. Some of these boys, like, and he used to go all over the world. But you couldn't turn pro then. I don't know if it's changed now. You had to change amateur. But he had over 300 fights. I was going to ask Billy Hutchison to be here today, like, but bless him, his memory's not brilliant anymore. And having 300 fights over the years, like, it's crippled him a bit. And you know, his memory's bad. So I said, no, that's all right, Billy. Like, you know, but he was great for the boys in Aylesbury on the door. He used to train the boys up, like, and he used to train everyone up, you know what I mean? Total respect. Billy Hutchison, he's got to be in his 70s now, you know what I mean? And what a great coach. He's just the IRF up in Wendover, like. He used to box up there, train the boys, and come down to Aylesbury, train the boys. It's a good boxing club in Aylesbury as well, like, you know. and total respect. Anything that's got sport in it, you've got to respect, like, you know what I mean? Because it's looking after your children, like. And now and again, I think these days they need to get off their phones and get down a club or do a bit of running. And if you're going to box, you've got to run. You've got to do your road work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like what I liked with Manny Clark and my son the other night is that the scaffolders kept them strong and healthy, like, you know. But he's been down there, man. He's been down there. Jesus, all
What's some of like your best moments for you? Have you?
Oh, the filming. Alex Reid come down. Alex Reid and they filmed Kill a Bitch down there.
Okay.
I liked Alex, you know what I mean? He's a nice guy.
How did you get involved with that, like for them to do the filming?
They asked to come down, like, you know, the governor. I won the governor title. I was already the governor on the street anyway before I even, you know what I mean, went up and fought in Caesar's Palace, like, you know what I mean? I didn't find the fights too hard. The boys were okay, lovely lads. I would have liked harder fights, but they, you know, if they should have shelled out and got me some better fighters, really. I was in my 50s, then I'm late 40s, early 50s. I was boxing up to the age of 55. I mean, these days I've got a clip you can show on this later, like where someone's attacked me with an iron bar and throwing all these punches, like, and he's just burnt himself out and looked at me and run off the road. But these days, I don't want to hear. I don't want to go back to prison.
No.
And a good doorman can work things out. You know what I mean? And you don't have to lay your hand on people. That's the last thing you want to do, like, is hurt anyone. People have got to go home. They might have had a row with their missus, had a bad day. Someone might have died in the family. They've come out for a drink and the head's gone, like.
Yeah.
You got a mother, look after them and care about them. I do the door down the Crazy Bear. I work the door there, and it's like, I'm always polite to people. They come out, hello sir, madam, you look beautiful. Welcome, have a beautiful night. You know what I mean? They go and have a lovely meal, like, they get looked after, and I'll tell them any problems or anything I can do. Them just tell me, like, they go in the bar, staff's lovely to them, like, you know, and the management's lovely to them. And that's what they want. That's all about going out.
Yeah.
You want to be looked after. And the first person you meet is the doorman. And if you've just got to be really nice to them, like, you know, they're paying your wages.
Yeah.
So, of course, if they want me to shine their shoes, I will.
Yeah.
They want me to polish their car when they're in having a dinner, I will, you know what I mean? I will be as polite. But I'm a polite person anyway. I mean, as a kid, I couldn't read or write. But my grandmother got brought up by grandmother, like, you know, and she got brought up by her grandparents. And we're going about 100, 200 years ago now. They were Jews, like, you know what I mean? And she ended up, her dad was a traveller, a prize fighter, Gypsy George Cooper. Was it Gypsy George or Gypsy Jack Cooper? One of the Coopers, anyway. And she always I couldn't read or write, you know, and that's why I went over to hard me up, like, over to Spain to live with my grandmother. She used to get a cereal packet and write on blue ink on a cereal packet, the alphabet. And I was all right. There's something called scotopic sensitivity, but I always said it's you know what I mean. If you put paperwork in front of me, I do get angry. I don't like it. I don't know. So it's just one of those things, like, you know what I mean. It's a shame because while I was over there, I got to learn fluent Spanish in no time.
Yeah.
So there was something wrong. I couldn't learn education like reading and writing, but I could pick another language up straight away. So people's brains are wired up differently, like, you know.
Exactly.
But politeness, my nan was very strict with politeness. I had to be polite all the time. And if I ever played up, ever rude, or my brother used to get me into trouble all the time. She's a beat with a stick, like, you know. But that's the way it was. I mean, she was born over 100 years ago. I mean, her grandmother must have been at the beginning of the 18th century, like, you know. My grandmother see 2 world wars. I think she lived through the Boer Wars going on over in Africa. But that's what we went through. But I love being polite to people.
Yeah.
I love being polite to people. I don't like being rude, and I don't like kicking off trouble.
It goes back to killing with kindness.
Killing with kindness, yeah. And I don't want to see anyone getting hurt. Even when I got the thing, I'll show you, like, when the geezers laid into me about after about a dozen punches, like, you know. And he's looked at me, like, and he's realised I'm fine. The guard was straight up, straight away, like, brilliant. I blocked all the punches and everything. Unbelievable, like. But I just killed him with kindness, like. And his missus was crying. She was trying to break it up, bless her, like. And I said, there's nothing. He run off and left her, bless her. I said, nothing for you to be worried about. The doorman come out then, because it fell out with it. The other doorman was a pool party, like. And he was rather stiff at cocaine or selling it. And they threw him out and it kicked off there. And I said, look, mate, it's all right. I'll sort the boys out. I said, you get your missus home. And I said to the doorman, like, get back in now. I said, because he's going to come back, like, I didn't know what he's going to come back with, a gun or a blade. It happens, like, you know, it happened down WKD, down Camden Town, Kentish Road. They come back with guns, like, he does. And if you're not involved in that argument to begin with, like, they're the ones that are throwing him out, I get the piece. You know, I'd rather I got shot than half a dozen doormen, like, you know what I mean? But generally, I work on the door by myself there now. But the doormen were brilliant, like, you know. And his most missus, I stopped her from crying. I said, there won't be no charges brought, like, you know. I said, I said, look, the cocaine, it's got to come off the cocaine and the drink. I said, do you know what I mean? And I said, because it's fucking, bless her, the poor cow, like, you know. Probably married as well. But they're customers and you got to look after them. No matter what they come back for, like, you know what I mean, or what they come back with. And I was looking after the other doormen. They're a little bit younger than me, like, so you got to put yourself. It's like down Southampton. It kicked off in the crowd. Like, they give me the mic. I was in the. They give me the mic and left me in the ring with the mic, like. But it was great because I was going, "Oh, you beautiful people, like, it's going to be a rumble in the jungle tonight. A vanilla and vanilla." And I just got on with it, like, it was great. I used to sell fruit in the market from the uncles and the cousins. Used to go up Spitalfield Market. So you go up there some mornings, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the Londoners are singing to themselves, like, what a beautiful day! Or anything. You know, unbelievable, like, and you pick up these things. But politeness, kill people with love and kindness, politeness. And when they come up and they cheer and they want to fight, like, that's the last thing I say, come on, lads. I said, I'm 103 years old, you don't want to fight with me, do you? Yeah. And sometimes they laugh. Once you get them laughing, then it's great, like. You've got to use experience, like. So use experience. But behind me, the geezer, this is down Southampton the other week, he went white. And I thought, fucking, is that me? Like, have I scared him? But there was someone shouting at him behind me, like, and he was looking over my shoulder, like, and it was Joe Higgins, big Joe Higgins, like, you know what I mean? And he was angry, like, because it kicked off. There's a lot of boys fighting, and I couldn't stop it from up there with the mic. They wouldn't listen to me, so I'll give the mic to someone and jumped in the crowd, like, and trying to break it up. And suddenly, like, when he showed up, I didn't see him behind me, like. It was like fucking everything broke up, like. The geezer I had hold of, like, the security were good. They come in there, like. But he needed, like, he needed someone like him to say, "Rah!" And he's very, Joe Higgins is very professional. Yeah. I say anyone's having a boxing tournament out there, like, any shows or anything, get Joe in, like, you know what I mean? You know, he just knows how it's done, like. He's a giant man. He's like Lenny McLean, the same size as Lenny McLean, like.
I saw the photo of you two on Facebook.
Oh, he's a giant of a man, like, you know. Him and Lenny, like, I think they obviously they were friends, like, you know. I think in the ring, Joe would have had a little bit too much experience. He would have outspoken. He would have outboxed Lenny, like. But I shouldn't be saying that. They're mates, so I'm not going to say no more, like, you know. But these are people I've met over the years, like, fantastic, like.
So what else you have down here? Because I know you've done a couple of films, haven't you?
Oh yeah, have you done Gatwick Gangsters? Gatwick Gangsters, that was great. Killer Bitch.
Yeah.
There's a few others as well, like, yeah. And when they come down, this is years ago. This has always been here, like this.
So when did you put all this together?
But no, it's been like that. I know we got the ring from a mate of mine from Pete Garnish from Tame.
Okay.
He used to be my coach. He used to come over and coach in Aylesbury, like.
Okay.
Pete Garnish was a good coach, and he did look after you. If you boxed under Pete Garnish, he'd get you proper fights, and he was a professional amateur, like he coach, like, you know what I mean. He used to matchmake and everything. Like, you had some good boxers in Aylesbury, like you had the Bennett brothers. Del Brown was fantastic. Ray Lewis. I could go on all day, like, they had fantastic boxers, like, you know. And he gave me it a long time ago. This was put down. I was born here, so I lived here all my life. It's always been like this down here. People come down and said, "Oh, it's like Snatch."
Yes.
And I thought. I thought they said this. I said, "No, this was here a long time before Snatch the film."
Yeah.
They said, "Did they get their idea from here?" Like, I said, "No, but I'll tell you what, those sausages are still cooking on the cooker." Another 5 minutes. You said that 5 minutes ago. But I love the fighters. I don't dislike any fighter, like, you know what I mean? I've got respect. And anyone, any human being I've got respect for, like, you know what I mean? I just like being nice to people. I can't help it. Some people, because, you know what I mean, it's take my kindness for a weakness, like. And I had that as a kid, like, because I couldn't read all right, and I was over Spain with my grandmother and that. I was a bit put out, like, you know what I mean? And when I used to come back to England to live, I used to come back about a year at a time. I used to go to school here, it was freezing cold, and my dad would be working, he'd be working to keep the mortgage on the house, so I wouldn't see him, like, I never saw my mum, bless her, like, but I still loved them both to pieces, and I could never change my clothes, saying, my brother used to nick them off other people's lines, I used to wear them down the street, and they used to chase me wanting their clothes back, it was terrible. And a lot of the food was come off the people's doorsteps in the morning, like the milk, the butter, the yogurts. And my brother was even cheeky enough to put a note in the bottle to say like what he wanted the next day. But it wasn't for him; it was the neighbours. But they all got clued up. Like my mate Anthony Holt, his dad. He said my dad went mental. Like he said, I haven't heard all this. Like he's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, and they realised it was my brother. Like having the wife shopping off the like. But I used to nick his clothes, and there used to be other people's clothes. And I never used to. I didn't know how to bath at that age. Like you don't know, you have a mother to look after you. I never had a mum, bless her, but I do love her. Like, and it's difficult because you get caught up, like, you know what I mean. But I was always gentle natured. I was really gentle natured. But something down below, like I used to get upset when people used to be cruel to me. And I promised myself I'd never treat anyone the way I was treated. And I've always kept that. I won't treat it. I just don't like being horrible to people. And hold grudges and dislike people. Like, I love people. You know, I find it difficult to dislike someone. Like, even if they're really nasty to me, like, I still, you know what I mean? But I suppose when I was on the steroids, it must have turned me, like, you know, because when it comes to the drugs and everything, especially in the raves and that, like, they used to get a bit fucking nasty. Like, they kidnapped a boy once, and we found him, and he was in the hospital, and they kidnapped him, put him in a van from this party, and they'd raped him. I don't know what they'd buggered with him as well. Like, it was disgusting what they'd done to him. Like, and it was a message to us, like, because they wanted to go to the raves and do what they wanted to, but we was doing all the raves.
So was that the time that I remember you saying that you didn't? They didn't want you to do the doors, and that's when it happens.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. I never used my name or anything. Like, I don't know if they knew me. They must have known me. I was always Norman the Doorman. Or over Milton Keynes. It's Norman the Doorman in Aylesbury. Stormy Norman over in Milton Keynes. Like,
where did the name Stormy Norman come from? Is that just someone then called it and it caught?
Yeah. I did Stormy Norman. That's you, Stormy Norman. I suppose you just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because they were talking about Norman over Milton Keynes and Aylesbury, and that was me, like, because I was Norman the Doorman in Aylesbury and Stormy Norman over. Then I was the governor. He used to call me the governor. My granddad father was the governor. He was the governor at Barnet Fair. That's got to be about 70, 80 years ago. He was a tough man. He could fight inside the ring and outside the ring. But my family and the Coopers are travellers like George Cooper. I know George Cooper. When I was talking to my relations, what relate to Jack Cooper. And they were talking to me once, and they were telling me the stories, and I knew the stories because my grandmother used to tell me the stories. But I never got back to them about, like, we were related.
Yeah.
It's funny how it goes. And I didn't realise that travellers lived in the East End just like the Jews. And there was a lot of Jews over the country. But what my grandmother done, because Hitler was killing all the Jews in Europe, and he was coming over, he nearly got over here to England, like, she had to lose the identity of the Jews and the Gypsies. So my father didn't even know we come from Germany. My uncles and my aunties didn't really know we come from Gypsies, it was all Jews. It's actually passed down to me, like, and I kept, and I can tell the story now. It was rough years ago. It must have been terrible, like, compared to what we get now, like, you know, you're living on borrowed time, like, you know.
Yeah.
They were taking all the 6 million, like, gas in them, like, putting them on trains, and I mean, most of the 6 million was when they took Poland, like, because they ended up in Poland, a lot of the Jews, because they were kicked out of England, they'd kicked out of Spain, and obviously they were kicked out of most of the countries, the Jews, because when the kings, or it was down to the Pope, they kicked them out of countries, they'd kick them out of countries and keep all their property. So it'd make the kings or the Pope richer.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, the poor old Jews, they went through some serious... Anyway, let's get back to the fight.
Yeah, so now we're into the war. So thank you for having me down there. I love seeing all that.
That's great, mate. There's witnesses with mine when I had the book written. Nanette! Yeah. Who read the book? Lee Wortley. He's written books before for other people, like, and he said, look, you know, he's written these books, and after he's written them, he's had people come back to him and say, this is not right, that's not right, and I said, look, mate, all I can do is tell you the truth, like, and I said, I'll give you a dozen names, and you just phone them up. I said, better still, why don't you go to them, they'll tell you the stories.
Yeah.
He said, well, I'll go to you, then I'll go to them, or I'll work in between, like. He says, you know what I mean? I said, mate, if I told you the complete truth, you wouldn't believe everything, like. He said, like what? I said, well, I was on the doors at the age of 10, like 10 years of age. He said, we can't say that. I said, why is that? He said, we've got to say 40, no one's going to believe you. I said, well, there you go, mate. Why don't you go and ask my brother? I said, I was on the door with him when I was 10, right? I mean, Manny Clark from Hemel, like. I was on the door with him when I was, we were only youngsters, only teenagers, like. He's a big bruiser, he is, Manny Clark.
How did you get on the doors at 10 then?
My dad was a tough geezer, like. He was a hard man, my dad. He was army champion. He boxed, and only a small fella, but his hands are massive. He had great big hands on him. And he used to do all the doors in Aylesbury. My uncle Chris used to do the doors in Aylesbury. And everyone knew them, and they respected them, and they, you know what I mean? They didn't want to mess them, like. So my dad put me on the door. It's crazy because I'd be over Spain one year and back here another year.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good, the old man. He'd had a big road dynamos. He started them. He's gone down in the history book, we'll say, because he started off the Bedgrove Dynamos now. He's quite a popular team over in Bedgrove. And Aylesbury Boxing Club, I mean, it's still going now. It's a good club. The coaches are brilliant, like, and they do push you hard, like. If you go down, my son went down there the other month, and he said, Dad, they really do put it. But so if you want to make it in life, if you want to be a winner, you get down there, because they will get you fit down Aylesbury Boxing Club. Bless them, like. And 10 years. I mean, it was just for Dad's name, like. You know what I mean? What kept us out of trouble, like. And full time, I was working the Bucks now go at the age of 14, and that's when I started seeing my dad knocking people out. He wouldn't argue with them because he was only 5'4", I think he was. Yeah, he was very short, but he was powerful, like. I think he was a throwback from the Coopers, like George Cooper, or because his hands are massive, like, and he could he wasn't frightened of nothing but he'd never caused trouble. A very quiet man, a gentleman as well. But when he used to get on the door with me Uncle Chris, they used to do work all over Ellesmere, all the pubs and the clubs, whatever was going on. And you could get 100 people in the pub and they'd go through them like nothing, you know what I mean? They were just tough boys, like, you know.
And who are some of like the big names we could call it? Like so I know heard recent Freddie Foreman passed the other day.
No, he didn't. No, he's still alive. Yeah,
Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie Foreman. Yeah, I thought he'd died.
Oh, right.
But I've been tipped off by other people. Like he's.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I honestly. I weren't too sure, so I put a few photos up of him, but I always put photos up of him and Dave Courtney and all the boys, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because from like that sort of era, the two people I always really wanted to meet was obviously Chris, which I was fortunate to meet.
Chris Lambrano.
Chris Lambrano.
Chris the Lambranos are lovely. They're lovely fellas.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them the time they got in prison. Like, I honestly think it's none of my business. I shouldn't be saying nothing. I think Ronnie Cray should have put his hands up and done his time. Maybe even if they got a few years each or a couple of years each, at the worst, like they should have even got that. But maybe, but not like 15, 17 years. Like it was wrong. Like, you know what I mean? And is it Chris Lambrano? He is a lovely guy.
Oh, he's so lovely.
He is a gentleman, right? And you know, when he's gone, it's a whole, you know what I mean? He's got, so they should have him on TV. Like, he should knock a few books out now, because he really is a peacekeeper. Like, you know what I mean? All the brothers, like his brother was mates with, when they buried his brother Tony Lambrano.
Yeah.
When they buried Tony, Chris come up, like, and he said, Tony, because it was his brother, like, his brother, always sticking up for his brothers, like, you know. And he said, no, he said, Tony, he shouldn't have gone like this, you know what I mean? He said, with me, you should have thrown me in as crab meat or something, like. He put himself down, like, you know, but always very protective of his brothers, like. And he's a very nice bloke. I mean, he should really be on TV, like, should be making documentaries, and, you know, I think he's a little bit shy. We was at a do, I can't remember, I had Matt Legg with me, like, up north somewhere. And he was sitting down with his family, like, I think he had his son with him, like, and there was Lenny McLean's daughter was there, like, she's a lovely girl, like, she suffers with depression, like, but it's horrible when someone suffers with depression, like, because it's not their fault, like, you know. And I hope, like, she's such a pretty girl, like, and she comes across such a nice girl, but depression, like, because she's saying about her dad, Lenny. Lenny used to have a bad, so people used to call him a bully, like. But if you suffer with depression, like, sometimes you just fight a little bit too quick, like, you know. But the boys are fucking making a noise behind. They're being very rude, like. So I got up, like, and I told them to be quiet. I said, "Come on, lads. You know what I mean? We're here to watch the boxing, like." And so. So I sat back down, like, and in about 10 minutes, they got another firm in there, like, and they were off as well. And I went to get up, like, and my missus grabbed my arm, like, and I see Lambrano. Which one's that? Tony, is it?
Chris.
Chris. Yeah, Chris. He called over a few fellas, like the doorman and that, like, and told them to sort it out. Otherwise, I would have been in a big fight, like, you know what I mean? I might have been fucking, you know what I mean? I don't know who these fellas were, like, you know, they might have had tools on them or whatever. But that's what I like. I mean, people like him, like, and the other day with Joe Higgins as well, like, they're the men what don't really have to do a lot. They're standing behind you, and you wonder why the people are so scared.
Yeah.
And someone like Joe Higgins is standing behind you, and he's looking at them, and they're frightened. And the same with Lambrano, like, you know what I mean? He just done it, just instinct, like. He knew I was going to be in trouble, like, you know. And it's nice, proper professional people. And I believe he shows people a lot of love, and he shows people a lot of care, like. He's got a good heart on him, like, you know. And I don't think he should have done the time. I don't think none of the boys. You know what I mean? Ronnie, he should have put his hands up, and they should have never allowed him out of prison because he was better off in prison, right? And that's where he wanted. But he wanted a big drama queen, like, and he wanted everyone to be dragged down with him, like, you know. It's a shame. These things happen, like, you know. You just got to be careful. If you're amongst, you know, like the London lot of the time, there are people what inform on the police, like they're known for it, like, and some of them are top boys as well. You wouldn't have thought so, but it's a shame it goes like that. But Tony and Lambrello's, they're lovely people, like lovely boys, yeah.
And obviously you taught Matt, help Matt Legg.
Oh, Matt Legg, what a lovely fella he is, isn't he? I don't want to see him go back fighting again now. Like people are saying, trying to wind him up, and I, you know what I mean. I've said to him, like, you know, you've been in. The only 2 fights he's ever lost is with one was with AJ. Well, he's coming back again. He might be world champion again. Yeah. But he's one of the hardest hitters of all times. Yeah, and the other one was with Tony. What was his name now? Who was it? Who was the other fella, Nanette?
Which one?
The fella Matt Legg fought. Lost to. Prize fight. He had a prize fight with him.
James Toney and...
James Toney, yeah. James Toney's never been knocked out.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted to fight Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson didn't want to fight James Toney because James Toney's the best defensive fighter of all times.
Now, was James Toney the American fighter? Is that what?
Yeah, he fought. This is after Tyson got beat by Holyfield.
Yeah.
So he fought Holyfield, and he beat Holyfield. He went up to heavyweight and beat Holyfield. So that's the class Matt Legg was in.
Yeah.
He was in world title, and he only had a handful of amateur fights. He only had a handful of professional fights. But somehow you could tell he just had so much bottle.
Yeah.
And he was good as well. But if my dad could have got hold of him as a junior, he would have been world champion, probably even a world champion now. He would have stayed there. So it was just a shame. I mean, as a junior, he fought some great travellers, the best travellers in the country. One was Paul Joyce, big Paul Joyce. Jesus Christ, he was scary. He was a big heavyweight, over 20 stone, 6'5", 6'6". He was so fast as well. If he turned pro and stayed pro and went all the way, he would have been up there with Tyson Fury, like, yeah. You know what I mean? These sort of boys. Matt Legg was he's such a one of the nicest blokes you could ever meet, like.
Oh, 100%.
I liked him because I used to love people as well. I used to be friendly with people, like, and he stunned me how polite.
And am I correct, you first met him in prison?
In prison, yeah, he should have been in there, really.
And you didn't know him beforehand? It was just...
I knew him at the gym, like.
Okay.
He used to come up, and the youngsters used to come up because I was a lump. I was powerful, like, especially when I got on the steroids. I should never take the steroids. But you live and learn, don't you? I don't take drugs. I never have taken drugs. I've never been a bully. Like, I've always tried to get on with people. Never taxed anyone. Debt collecting, I tried debt collecting, but it used to break my heart, you know what I mean? I had a very gentle side to me. But when I got on the steroids, like, especially the shootings up in London, and they raped and beat one of the boys up, like the doorman, like, and I carried a sawn-off 12 bore. I shot a few people by accident, but it was lucky I didn't get killed. Yeah. I should have been dead by now, and lucky I didn't kill anyone. So prison was an escape for me, yeah. Like, and you go in prison. I met one of the screws in prison, still mate of mine, Tommo.
Yeah,
I'd love it if you could interview him, like, because. Yeah. Stories I can tell you, like, is like when I worked for the groups Michael Jackson, Prince, Bruce Springsteen, all the top groups, all the top groups in the 80s and the 70s. They were fantastic, like, even before I worked for Vic Benham, I used to mine for him and look after the merchandise. And then you'd have pirates what used to send the merchandise outside places like the Royal Albert Hall or Wembley, like the old Wembley.
Yeah.
All everywhere, like, you know. And it wasn't hundreds of thousands of pounds worth, like. It used to come up with fan loads of merchandise, like, especially the Jackson, because there'd be fucking socks and gloves and everything. And I'm thinking of some of the best things. I think we've done. We've just done all the groups.
Now, am I correct in saying this? I remember reading a story that you had a run-in with us, like someone. I think when you worked, might have been a like a gig or whatever it was, and you had a run-in with a celebrity or something, or someone like.
Oh, that was, yeah, I didn't like him. I just, he was a creep, but it wasn't known him at the time. The bloke who used to work down the hospital, Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't like. I'm surprised social service let him get away with so much.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And he got away with everything. And to look at him, you can tell he's a creep.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was praised. He was, you know what I mean? And this is before they started pulling him down.
Yeah.
And there's just something about him, you know, and he was pestering one of the girls there, like, and I went up there, like, he gave me an orange he had in his hand, like, you know what I mean? And he said, "Oh, do you recognise me?" I said, "Yeah, you're Jimmy Savile, like." And he gave me an orange, like. I said, just leave him alone, like, right, can you? He said, well, why's that, like? I said, look, I said, just don't like it. I don't know. I'm surprised social service never picked up on a fucking bloke like that. He was a wronging, like. He'd have a tracksuit on and a big cigar jogging around the field, like. He had a tracksuit on there that day and a cigar and an orange in one hand. So what was that getting over to you, like? This man was very, very intelligent, like. He's pestering some girls, like. I just told him to leave him alone. And he said, I said, yeah, Jimmy, how do you know it's me, like? I said, well, you are a fucking laugh, ain't you, like, I just didn't like him. I couldn't help it, like. There was another fella I fell out from Manchester, Billy McPhee. But there was I had a row with two McPhees. Another one up in Scotland. So it seemed to be everyone was Billy McPhee at the time, in the 80s, the late 80s. But you could have a scrap. I've had a scrap with a couple of McPhees. They could have a scrap. I don't know if it was the Iceland McPhee or I thought he come from Manchester. But the one from Manchester I had a row with. When I got up to Edinburgh, because we worked all over the country, like, you know what I mean? Everywhere. And they'd pull up with their vans and get all these things. You wouldn't think so, what was going on, how much money was being spent, and it was, you'd have a gang from Liverpool, gang from Scotland, a gang from Southampton, a gang from... And it went on, like, and there was guns pulled there as well. And, I at the end, when people started getting shot, I had a friend of mine taken up the woods and shot. Matt Legg, I loved in the piece, like, he had his mate shot as well. And,
because wasn't it his mates that was the road rage incident with you? Is that who?
No, what happened to him, like, I got in the fight with his mate. It's great, really, because these people have come forward, like, and spoke to Matt, and they said, like, you think it's Norman, like, Stormy Norman, they called me, or Norman the Dorman Storm. Norman Buckland, like, Governor, people call me Governor. I don't mind being called Governor, but, I mean, everyone in the prison's been called governors, like, haven't they? All the prison wardens, like, and like my grandfather, he used to prefer being called Bucky, like.
Yeah.
But I don't mind. They call me governor. I know Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw were called governors, like, and total respect to them men, like. I don't mind being called governor, but Norman Buckland would do me. And I don't know, where was I?
So I've forgotten myself now.
The merchandise. Yeah. It was the McPhee. I thought it was McPhee from Scotland, but There must be. There was loads of McPhees, but then they had families because when they used to nick sometimes they when you used to get the van loads of gear was coming, and they'd say, "What's your name?" McPhee so and so. He said we're related to Billy McPhee. And I said, which Billy? What, the one from Manchester or one from school? We went up to the Edinburgh to work up there. Just all the groups. I worked for all the groups. And I've got witnesses there. Like, I used to bring the T-shirts home half the time. I used to chore it off the powers and keep them and bring them home and that. And that was for Vic Bellamy, Starguard Security. And the raves would be for Tony Hayter. He was a professional. He was a good fucking gambler as well. We used to go to the casinos, and somehow he was so intelligent he could count the cards.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. We used to walk out with thousands of pounds, like, and he used to get banned from some casinos. And he'd have to go back there. We'd have to go back there next looking different. He'd wear a wig and different fucking clothes and stuff like that. So I see a lot, really, for someone what couldn't even read or write. You know what I mean? It was all on the plate. It was every night. Milton Keynes, I love Milton Keynes because it was a gold city, a brand new city, and there's plenty of work there.
So you're saying about the road rage incident? The
road rage, bless him, like, yeah. They jumped out of the car. There was a few of them. I think there was about 4 of them. I think one locked himself back in the car because he's still alive now. And what they have an iron bar. One had an air flicker thing. I don't know what it was.
Like a baton type.
And that one had a blade on him, bless him, like. And it all happened. I don't know if they pulled behind me or pulled in front, or I was going around a bend and they were cutting me up, you know, and I slowed down because I didn't want to get involved with them. But they slowed down and stopped, so I overtook them. They got behind me, and as I was going around a bend, as I was trying to overtake them, it come to a bend and they slowed down. So I was like, they nearly killed me in the car. And I thought, what the fuck's going on here? Like, it didn't help me. I was on steroids as well. I stopped the car and they pulled in front of me. And the boys had jumped out, 4 of them at a time, one other thing. But this is the way I was always on the doors. You know what I mean? I didn't really give a fuckies, like. And I'd got out and I'd fucking really pissed off at him, like. I got the bloke with the blade, like. I threw him over the bonnet of the car and grabbed his blade and ripped his coat in half. And the bloke behind me I was a tough boy, like. I was going in about 18 stone. You know what I mean? I had a chip in my shoulder, like. I had a bit of a bad temper. I didn't mean no harm. But I'd started chasing him. He locked himself in the car, but he locked himself in the car and locked the others out. So I was chasing around the car, and I thought, what are they? And I got fed up with chasing. I had a blade and I had the bar, and I threw it in the boot of the car. And he opened the door and they took off. And I went home. The old Bill came. I didn't think they'd call the old Bill because I had the tool. The normal thing where happens, a woman comes in the door like a policeman. You go out there, and then the policeman jump out the edges. Like they took to the police station, and I said, "Look, I still got the knife." And they said, "But you smashed the car." I shouldn't have smashed their car up. I had the iron bar. But I was so second. I was really pissed off at them. But I always, when I was in Manny Clark, we used to fight like I could take a football team on or a rugby team on. And when I was with my brother, it was the same, like Milton Keynes. You know, and even with Matt Legg, I worked on the door with Matt Legg at times. Like, there have been some good doormen I've worked with. Tommo, he was a prisoner in Wood Hill. I'd love it if you get to talk to him, like, because I used to work with the doors. You used to work up in town, up in London, Camden Town, Kentish Town.
Because my dad used to train with him, and then from the age I would have been about 14. And I used to then train my dad and obviously Tommo. And again, another person I was just always so lovely. I'd love to do the same.
They had a great boxing club. They had Bletchley Royals. A.B. Goldsmith used to run it. A fella called John. And they had some good boxers, Marty Mo Smithers. And another one, he's moved to Australia now. He was like Mike Tyson. He was a welterweight, go light heavyweight, and he used to hit hard. Oh, what's his name now? Jesus, he's gonna kill me now. I've forgotten his name. Oh, it's gone completely now. Completely. He's a mate of mine as well, so he's not going to be very happy about it. He's got the same name as that bloke who was in prison all the time. And for years, he was the hardest bloke in the prison. Charlie, yeah. His name was Charlie Johnson. I know it because Charlie Bronson, like Charlie Johnson. And he could hit like Mike Tyson, schoolboy champion twice. And as a pro, like he would have gone, he could have gone all the way. Like he could have even been world champion. Like everyone in Milton Keynes actually knew how good he was. And he got in a row with his dad with some boys, and they pulled the blade and stuck it in their liver. Like it cut him up quite bad. And that was his boxing career out. You know what I mean? He moved over to Australia. He had a dad what lived in Bletchley. Like Charlie Johnson he's a great boxer. There was great boxers about.
How did you end up meeting Colin?
Colin was a lovely fella. Like he used to come to work. I worked with him a few times, and I had trouble with one of his tenants. Like he was a big Somalian fella, like you know. And he was about 6'6", great big powerful geezer like, and he wasn't paying the rent. And now and again, I got the job. I used to have properties as well. I'd done so well, but it's just not being able to read or write. It was, you know, I lost all my properties. I had to sell it because of the tax man. But it's a shame. If I was educated, I'd be a millionaire right now. All the chances I've been given, like. But I've always ended like now, all I do is the doors, like. But I'm happy. I like running about with people. I like being polite to people. But the big fella, what's his name now? Colin was his
Roberts.
Colin Roberts. I used to work on the doors, and I told him, I said, I've got some trouble with these tenants. Like, we used to get a lot of 3-bedroom house, turn it into a 5-bedroom, turn the garage into a bedroom as well, like. And I had one in Wolverton, like Church Street. That was a 3-bedroom into a 5-bedroom. Then I had one in, I bought one over in Connerborough. That was a 3-bedroom into a 5-bedroom. And opposite that was Fishermead. I had a 3-bedroom turned into a 5-bedroom. One down Bletchley. It's a shame. If I could read all right, you know what I mean? I lost it all, like, but I went all over the world, like, I did a lot of travelling and that. But and he come in to have a word with these boys, like, you know, because he was difficult with the tenants, you know what I mean? Well, I mean, the one in Aylesbury, when I travelled with the tenants there, I got some lads to move in there, like, you know what I mean, like travellers, like. They frightened the fuck out of these other tenants, so they left. And I give the money to the travellers for scaring them, like, you know. There's ways of dealing with things. Yeah. And Colin, he's ex-army, isn't he? Like, a big scar across his face. And he's gone up to the bloke. He said, "Stop pissing about, like, and pay your rent, like." And the bloke stood up, fucking big fella as well, like. Colin's just banged him straight on the chin and put him on the floor. I've never seen anything like it in my life. But not only that, he's gone over to the sink and grabbed a cup of water, like, filled it up with water, gone up to him, just thrown it across his face. And said, "Wake up now, like." He said, "You're going to pay the rent now. Stop messing about." He said, the fella said, "Yeah." And that was it. Like, Colin was a tough fella, you know. There were some tough boys. Tough boys, yeah. I mean, in Milton Keynes, there was Kevin Wilson. He was tough. A big fella called Caswell years ago. I think he moved over to Australia. Richard Graham. There were some tough boys around Milton Keynes. Tough boys, like, you know. But Colin, he was a tough fella, like, you know what I mean? Total respect to him. He'd always look after me if I went to one of his clubs or whatever, like. I think a few of the boys were doing the Golden Flamingo at the time, the Winter Gardens. I worked at the Winter Gardens for a time. Roselle's. There was a lot. The Santry. Used to have the roads at the Sand. I ended up working there at the Santries. I was all over the place. It was great. There was so much. That's before the licence come out. But I've got my licence now. They give me it when I was 60 years of age. I think there was a piss tape when they give it to me, like you're too old now, like so. But the point is that the prison done me the world of good, and I can't knock the screws, the prison wardens. We used to call them governors, like that's why, you know what I mean. I'd rather be called Norman Buckland. They were. Tommo was a lovely fella, like some of the nicest people I've met in my life. You know,
Tommo,
like,
Bronson wrote about Tommo in his book.
yeah, you brought because Tommo was nice to everyone. Like he was a nice big fella, strong, and as a doorman he could have a row as well.
Yeah.
Bronson was great. They put me down the block when he was down the block, but they wouldn't let me out and exercise. And I said, "Why don't you let me out?" He said, "Because you and Bronson will fucking start kicking off." I said, "No." I said, "I like hard men, like you know what I mean. If I know someone's got, I'm quite gentle, really. It's just that when I get set upon, like the boys in the car when they set upon me, like you know." And I think that was just a lesson to teach them a lesson. Because about 2 weeks later, they were in the same car. The driver's the same driver, and he smashed into a tree, and the car's caught on fire. He's lost half his body. He died in the car. I think some of the boys died in the car as well. So maybe that was a lesson to them. Maybe I should have given a bit more of a hiding. So I didn't really. I just scared them. Like I just ripped his coat up with a knife and the iron bar. I chased the fellows around and that. Like they got a scare. Like you know. But maybe that was just something just to stop them from going mental like they did. But they didn't stop them, so they ended up dying. Like what was a terrible. Nature's a terrible thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like nature. But I always believe what goes around comes around. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, you could be a master and you could find something to master and to help cancer and to cure cancer, but it won't really matter. You'll still be disliked by some people.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you can't please everyone.
you know, if I could wrap up love, kindness, and everything else that's beautiful in a present and give it to everyone for Christmas, I would. You know what I mean? That's the type of guy I am. But some of the people I've met over the years are lovely people.
What about how did you come about meeting Dave Courtney?
Dave knew a lot of the boys from London knew me before I knew them.
Okay.
Dave, I like Dave. They when I won the governor title up there, like the Roy Shaw governor title, he gave me the governor title over. And I didn't think, you know, Roy's a lovely fella and his family and that. And I met Joey, the old man Joey Paul was a lovely. The gangsters, I really got on with the gangsters up there, like you know, Caesar's Palace and all the gangsters around London. I like total respect. The big black fellow, Kaz, what they called him, Kaz. He had his glasses, and I was trying to look him in the eyes. And fucking, I could see myself looking through his glasses. He's another big fella, just like Joe Higgins and Lenny McLean, like, you know. And they're a big gentleman, like, nice guys, like, you know. But I always had something, I used to like looking at them and, you know, admiring them. Like Lenny McLean, I admired him. I thought he's a professional minder, what he was. But, you know, people like him and Kaz and Lenny McLean, they don't have to look at people and they'd break fights up straight away or just raise their voice. They had it made, something magical about them, like, you know. And I love meeting people like that. It was fantastic. And the old gang up in London, and they knew me. I trained Matt up in prison, bare knuckle. He was in a few street fights, so how he got put into prison. But I told him like he loved the Crays and the Richardsons and all the old gangsters and everything. And I said, look, you know, it's a bad road. I said, I'm in here for shooting, like. I said, stupid idiot. I said, I was pulling the 12 bore out too much. Thought it was stupid and I'm pathetic. Nothing clever about it, like. It was pathetic, like. But I didn't end up getting shot and I never killed anyone, so. And that time in prison, even now, like, when sometimes I get the amp, like, you know, that time in prison, it's there to teach you a lesson, like. it's what they call it now. You know what I mean? It's there to sky you. You know what I mean? And you learn. And every time you go to lose your temper, you don't want to go back to prison, right? You know. But I learned a lot in prison. Yeah, I learned a lot. But the ones that suffer is your wife, your kids, and your family outside. Come on, ask me some questions. Because I go on, I can't. Sorry. And I keep saying, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's terrible. And the old just cockney slang all the time. It's terrible.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I've covered everything I wanted to know. So I really appreciate you having me here. I'd love to see him down there again.
Oh, down there, mate. And if I can ever... Tommo, he's a lovely fella, you know what I mean? And I hope you can get an interview with him. Matt Legg is... The people I've met in life have been lovely people. Joe Higgins, Kaz, a giant of a man. Even Billy McPhee, I think he's dead now, like, or they must be dead. Like, I knew the one of the blokes I had a fight with. He had a brother called Alex McPhee, but I thought I had a fight with a couple of them. Like, so I don't know if it was old Iceman Man McPhee or I knew one was the Manchester one. But you forget people's names. Yeah. I don't know everyone. It's a bit like how many hot dinners, how many weeds have you had, like, in your life, or how many times you caught a bus. It doesn't, you know what I mean? And I've never, I'll be honest, like, I could never create a fight or start a fight. It's never been in me, like. But I suppose as a kid, like, it's like people now, like, you know, someone said to Manny the other day, someone upset him, said about me, like, he said, someone said something that he had to go at someone. I said, Manny, I said, I don't even know him. I said, he doesn't even know me, like. He said, well, he shouldn't have said that. I just put him in his place, like. I said, Manny, I said, it's the way it is, like, you know. I said, you can have a cure for cancer and they still hate you. Yeah. I said, people are people, like, you know. And I try not to upset people. I try and be as nice as possible. But there's nothing more I can do to put it on a plate for them, like, you know. The old gangsters, like, I've not been like them, you know. Although I love them all, like, you know, because I've never taxed anyone, never bullied anyone, never kidnapped anyone, and just silly fucking defended myself. Like, you can't be Jesse James or John Wayne. You can't carry guns around. No. And I'll say to the kids out there, it's stupid. Don't do it. What you got to do if it comes to that on the door is retire from the door. But then there's no work for me, you know. It's a shame. But I've got a beautiful wife now, Filipino wife. Yes. And if that's all I get in life, I'm happy, like. Got some beautiful children, like. And I've got lovely people that are like you guys around me, you know. I've learned a lot through life. Learned a lot, yeah. Life has a lot of valuable lessons. Oh, yeah. And just before we finish, just because I love the story, would you tell me about Tommo sending you the dog? Oh, Tommo! Tommo! I'll tell you what, he's going to have to come on there and have a talk. I want you to get him, find where he is. Because Tommo ripped me off. He sold me a flippin' Irish bulldog, like, a pit bull it was supposed to be. And the bloody thing turned into a flippin' greyhound, didn't it? And I used to pick it in the back of the car and take the tires to people used to look at it and said, do you use it, like? I said, no, I said, I'm not into dog fighting, like. They said, no, like, the chasing rabbits and stuff like that. And you could see it was a greyhound, like. I didn't ask for my money back, but he used to always be on it. He was funny, like. He was great. He's a lovable. And I'll tell you what, some of the screws could be, you got the arseholes, but you get the arseholes everywhere, like, you know, any game. And I've never been racist, you know. We used to have I used to go around an old girl's house when I was a kid, like, she had a big family. The car, I think she changed the names of the car, but it was Michael Dick and Everard Dick, Billiard Dick, and I used to go around at the Christmas dinner. The mum was brilliant, like, black as the ace of spades, like, black family, like, and it was really kind of them, like, they had me in, like, I used to be a bit of a loner. They used to have me in for Christmas dinner, like, and they were great. And you know, there's a lot of kind people, a lot of lovely people out there. Oh, you know, yeah. what have taken a lot of stick over the years, you know, and they've never asked for anything back for it, like, you know. She was lovely, she was a lovely woman. Michael Dick Turner, well, Michael Carr changed. Professional boxer, top professional boxer, good boxer. But he's dead now. A lot of people have died now, yeah.
But no, thank you very much. We
That's
think that.
all right, mate.
That's a
God bless you,
really
sir.
appreciate it.
And God bless you!
Go get some food.
Yeah, lovely. Oh, what about the parrot? You got to meet the parrot. You get the parrot down. No. Come here, baby. Come here, darling. Come and say hello to the camera. There she is. Nanette, come here and say hello. My wife as well.
Hello,
I'll get it here.
hello.
This is Blue.
Hello.
Here's my wife. My Filipino wife. This is all I get in my life is my wife and my kids. And the parrot. I said I'm well happy, like, you know what I mean? Happiness condition mind, not a result of circumstances. Yeah. God bless you lot. Fucking love you.